A massive congratulations to both Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins on the announcement that they are going to welcome a beautiful baby into this world in the not too distant future. But I've got a huge scope for you. I have heard on the grapevine that to impregnate Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins utilised the small package. I'm a genetic jackhammer, he said. Of course I'm taking the piss. Of course I'm having a laugh. Congratulations to the pair of them. I'm over the bloody moon. I am Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic, and welcome to all the WTF moments from this week's Monday Night Raw. WTF! And there's no wonder Michael Cole didn't mention the fact that we seemingly saw the death of two WWE superstars when he was wrapping up at the end of the Money in the Bank 2020 pay-per-view, because we learned at the start of Raw there was a secondary roof. Ronald Mysterious and Aleister Black therefore did not die when big baldy bastard Baron Corbin did what he did, and phew. Now this shocking revelation raises two questions for me. First and foremost, if Michael Cole knew about a secondary roof, why did he not mention the fact that he knew there was a secondary roof? Imagine being the family of Ronald Mysterious, little Dominic or Big Dominic, sat at home. Imagine being Zelina Vega. You're thinking, bloody hell, me loved ones perished. And Michael Cole, who seemingly knew there was a secondary roof by the fact he was so nonchalant about it all, he doesn't bring it up. What a tosser. And second of all, and I'm gonna keep harping on about it until they give us a reason, how did AJ Styles get out of that grave at WrestleMania 36? You've given us a reason as to how the ladder match lad survived. Fantastic. Tickety-boo, no issues with that. But please just tell us how AJ Styles got out of that grave, because it's too interesting and too fun not to cover. How way, man, WWE. But in the midst of that wonderful Becky Lynch promo from the start of this week's Raw, she did a very bad thing, so she did. Becky Lynch told Asuka, hello there, Asuka. I'm not going to do that anymore. She told Asuka, Asuka, you have been the best professional wrestler in the world for a very long time. And even though I doubt he was watching Monday Night Raw, there's no doubt about it, when Becky Lynch said that to Asuka, Shane McMahon's ears started sweating and Colonel McSweaty Bollocks started the process of getting a match against Becky Lynch in the works. So thanks, Becky. Asuka, you go be a warrior, because I'm gonna go and be a mother. What a fantastic line from Becky Lynch there. And I don't know about you at home, but that little a mother from Asuka, I nearly started bawling, everybody. And not, and I repeat, not in the MVP sense. But the beauty of this moment, which sort of gives us a lovely WTF moment, is the fact that normally when people are doing these emotional promos about going away and relinquishing titles, it's always in the jaws of something really horrible, like an injury or something along those lines. But this announcement from Becky Lynch, it was in the lovely Egyptian cotton gloves of something joyous, like pregnancy. And that is fantastic, and something you don't see often enough, really, is it? And to top it all off, by Becky Lynch going to WWE and asking them to make the women's Money in the Bank ladder match for the title as well, it looks like Becky Lynch got to pass the torch to the person she wanted to pass the torch to, and that is a beautiful and rare thing as well. Therefore, WTF, look at that tweet there from last year. It's wholesome, wholesome, I tell you. Not a healing sight to congratulate Becky Lynch, you petty, childish pricks. But more to the point, in the midst of this global pandemic, Becky Lynch, you're pregnant. Stop hugging everybody in that scene there, and everybody in the world who doesn't live with Becky Lynch in her real life at home. Stop hugging the pregnant lady. Once again, we're stood here in the midst of this pandemic, but the pandemic does not exist in the world of professional wrestling, even though it bloody well does. Get yourself home, Becky, and stay there. Ooh, I did my best to freeze the frame at the right moment right there, because even Tom Segura if he was watching this week's Raw, which of course he was, because he is the biggest fan of professional wrestling in the world today. But even Tom Segura and his naysaying bollocks, he'll be getting something out of Humberto Carrillo drop kicking a chair right into the face, quite legitimately as well, I might add, of Bobby Lashley. Now, as we all know, Bobby Lashley is a man who likes to take a chisel and a hammer up the taint for some pleasure. But even that might have killed him. By God, it was gnarly.
Yep, I wrong. Yep, I wrong.
Byron Saxton did not watch WWE back in the day, confirmed. That thing there is not a full Nelson man, Byron. That thing there, that's a master lock. The move, of course, which Bobby Lashley was the first man to break way back in day. So he started using it by himself. It's lovely. It's full circle. Byron Saxton, watch some old wrestling, man. You're missing one half of 5-star wrestling's masters of cool. And let me tell you there, you're missing out, so you are. Hey man, Ivar, what's your issue there, man? Did you not watch the professional wrestling back in the day as well? Did you miss Batista? Batista, the animal, he walks alone inside a pit of danger. But despite all of that, he told us that basketballs do not hold grudges. That ball is your friend. Ooh. Or maybe Ivar's just angry because the Vikings are an NFL team and not an NBA team. Aye. But more on this basketball malarkey we saw in this week's Raw. Imagine tuning into something relating to professional wrestling and seeing some big lads play basketball very, very terribly indeed. Who would think that was a good idea, eh? Me and Tom. And then we have Ro. Yes, I know that's not his name anymore, but I'm still not used to that WWE name. So next up we have Ro. Mr. Raymond Rowe himself saying that the Viking Raiders were going to beat the Street Profits in a game of basketball because anything they can do, we could do better. But why couldn't the Street Profits pick anything cool, like sword fighting, or axe throwing, or people tossing? Now what you do in your spare time is completely up to you, Mr. Raymond Rowe. Do not let me judge you on what you do in your personal time. But surely that last one there cannot be shown on prime-ish time television, can it? And I think the real question here is, everybody, is their WrestleMania match still going on? Because I think it might be. And then we have Charlie Caruso saying a huge congratulations to Becky Lynch on her amazing announcement, and also an equally huge congratulations to the new Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. Now, I could have sworn she was going to say Seth Rollins in the place of Asuka in that sentence there, but when she didn't, I thought WTF, so that's why I'm speaking about it now. And to be fair, it took a long time for anybody to say congratulations to Seth Rollins. I think the only person to say congratulations to Seth Rollins was indeed Ronald Mysterious, and he did that way deep into the show, way deep. And I just find this weird when you remember the point in time where you were watching WWE and quite literally every third sentence you heard from anybody's mouth on the show was telling us how Becky Lynch was the girlfriend of Seth Rollins and Seth Rollins was the boyfriend of Becky Lynch. I know he's a scoundrel, but we all know because you told us time and time again, so the fact you took so long to reference it and then only referenced it once was a bit weird. I know he's a scoundrel these days, but still, they're still going out, man. It's fine. We all know it's fake, Tom Segura.
Yep, I wrong. Yep, I wrong.
And then Byron Saxton's comment about Akira Tozawa having a career resurgence was all kinds of weird to me. And that's because Akira Tozawa has lost 9 of his last 10 professional wrestling matches on main roster WWE shows, and one of those losses was to Santa Claus. I'm not making that up. That is a real thing that happened. Yes, of course, Akira Tozawa has had 2 wins on NXT TV as part of that Cruiserweight tournament over recent weeks, but 9 losses out of his last 10 on main roster shows, and one of those was to Santa Claus. I don't care who you beat on a Wednesday night, once you lose to Santa Claus, you might as well go home. And then we get on to the brand to brand invitation, and oh boy, I'm Vince McMahon and I've had an epiphany. Welcome everyone to the Wild Card Rule. Do you not remember the Wild Card Rule, Vince, and how the Wild Card Rule went down like a sneeze inside Vince McMahon's house? Vince? Why the hell are you bringing back something not too many people liked in the entire wrestling world, man? It makes no sense. Why would you do it? So then we had Drew McIntyre explaining this brand-to-brand invitation to us all, and he told us that Raw, whoever the kayfabe leader of Raw is, extended an invitation to one SmackDown superstar and one SmackDown superstar in particular, and because of this invitation to that certain SmackDown superstar, we're getting Drew McIntyre versus big baldy bastard Baron Corbin on next week's Raw. And you think about it in the realms of kayfabe. Why would the kayfabe leader of Monday Night Raw go after big baldy bastard Baron Corbin specifically in the face of, you know, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin being a big bastard that nobody likes, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin being a big bastard attempted murderer 3 times this year, I might add, and the fact that you're the kayfabe leader of Monday Night Raw, you want to get more eyes on Monday Night Raw, so you go and invite a person nobody likes to come to Monday Night Raw. Why not Cesaro? I know he's a heel, but everybody knows that Drew McIntyre versus Cesaro is a match we want to see here in May of 2020. Why not Daniel Bryan? Bloody hell. Why not Dolph Ziggler himself, thanks to the history himself and Drew have together, and the fact that Dolph Ziggler, despite the fact his character is dead, he's a fantastic wrestler. Better than big baldy bastard Baron Corbin. Those 3 lads I've mentioned there, you're going to get a better match, and therefore a better couple of segments of Monday Night Raw, Mr. Kayfabe leader of Monday Night Raw. You're picking Corbin makes no sense, man. So not only have WWE kind of brought back the wild card, we're also getting another slice of basic bitch, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin's horrible king shtick. It's what everybody wants. Somebody spanked me, I thought they were dead. And Peyton's got new eyes. And now we have an earth-shattering WTF Moments here on WTF Moments on the Cultaholic YouTube channel. Something that will change your life forever. So please sit down before I say what I'm about to say. Tom Phillips claims that the IIconics have been away from wrestling matches on WWE TV for 7 months, but I did a Google and I found out it hasn't even been 6 months yet. Yes, that Google told me that back on the November 18th episode of Monday Night Raw, the IIconics lost to the team of Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. So Tom Phillips told a really inconsequential lie to you. And I don't know about you, but Samoa Joe's shouting at the top of his lungs, new champs, new champs, new champs, when the IIconics defeated Bliss and Cross. It had me going for a second, did it not you? It must have. He was going akapot, as we like to say here in Newcastle, which means radio rental, which means mental. He was going mental. Now, the timing of the debut of Broken, let's call him Broken, of Broken Seth Rollins is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure you will agree. Is Seth Rollins now broken because he failed to capture the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank 2020 and therefore failed to prove his his hypothesis that Drew McIntyre is not a fitting leader for Monday Night Raw? Or is he broken because he just heard his girlfriend is pregnant and that's something he didn't want to happen? Obviously, it's the former. Me saying the latter is just making the hashtag content and having a laugh, but still, the timing could not have been better, could it? Now, I'll tell you one thing I did not expect to see and or hear during this week's Monday Night Raw, and that was Ronald Mysterious. Because he died at Yeah, forget about that. There was a secondary roof. We know that. That's fine. It was Ronald Mysterious speaking about Seth Rollins and saying about Seth Rollins, what a dick. And the fact that the biggest little man in WWE history, the noble and brave, the role model to Little Big Dom, Ronald Mysterious whispered that because Seth Rollins was presumably still within earshot of his words. What a coward. R-Truth watches Red Dwarf? Maybe. What a shocker. Now apparently Pretty Ricky has been something R-Truth has been doing on his TikTok account for a very long time, and the kids are down with that. Go on the kids, all the best to you. But I'm watching this, not knowing about R-Truth's TikTok account, and I was writing this script right here, and I was thinking, Pretty Ricky, where have I seen that before? It's been Ricochet's name on the Twitter for a very long time, so you know what wrestlers are like. They're always up for the banter. Surely, Pretty Ricky, the R-Truth one, not being pretty, was a jibe at Ricochet, was it not? A hack theory for you there, even though it couldn't possibly be true because Ricochet is gorgeous. And then we have Charlie Caruso saying, and speaking of new, here's Jinder Mahal. Hit the klaxon. And I don't know what you took away from that Jinder Mahal promo on this week's Raw, but it looks like he might be turning babyface, and that is weird. Jinder was speaking about how he's going to redeem himself, how he has learned from his past mistakes, and how his journey back to the top of WWE is going to be a hero's journey. Unless, of course, he was saying those things to tell massive pork pies, massive lies, because he's still a diddler. In the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast sense of the word, of course. But Jinder as a babyface, no doubt the guy has the charisma to pull it off. In a non-ironic way, honestly, I do believe that. But it's going to be interesting after the last 3 or so years to see this man as a babyface, isn't it? Let's see where it goes, eh? So at Money in the Bank 2020, when AJ Styles saw a picture of The Undertaker in a room with the coffin that might or might not have had Gallows and Anderson inside of it, we learned that AJ Styles is suffering from PTBD, post-traumatic burial disorder. But on Raw, he's watching the preview of the Last Ride documentary, which you can see on the WWE Network now for £9.99 a month. And not only that, but AJ Styles is wearing an Undertaker t-shirt, he's got some popcorn, his tights are blue and purple, he's in a chipper mood, he's saying, wow, this should be good. Quite frankly, that is quite literally the complete opposite to the way he was at Money in the Bank 24 hours earlier, and considering Money in the Bank was just 24 hours before that shot there was taken, I don't get it. But then, AJ Styles, after watching a little snippet from The Last Ride, which you can see on the Heavy Network, he was all sorts of pissed off. He threw his popcorn at the screen. He was angry, so he was angry. So he went from PTBD to overjoyed to angry. Has he just lost the plot? Is that what we're going with here? And then we have a direct quote from Shayna Baszler, which was so good, I had to make it a WTF moment because it was just that bloody well good. She said, yeah, that kid's gonna suck, obviously, about Becky Lynch's new baby, which is inside of her womba. You know who the father is, yeah? I rest my case. Woohoo! Fantastic. Nyah. Again, it's the timing of the descension into brokenness for Seth Rollins that is the best thing. I'm sure this flashed through your head just like it did mine. Seth Rollins saying to himself when Becky Lynch revealed that she was pregnant, I wish I pulled it out. I'll admit it, I'm an arsehole. I'm just having a laugh, but I'm very interested to see where this broken Seth Rollins character goes to from here. It's getting worse and worse by the segment, it's fantastic. Referee's discretion is a thing in the professional wrestling, this much we know. But the finish of that tag team match on this week's Raw was an absolute insult. Or so I thought. Now, I was watching the Cultaholic Wrestling News on this illustrious YouTube channel this morning, and Tom Campbell told me, through the words of Brian Alvarez, why that might not be a WTF moment, but also provides us with another WTF moment, as apparently Vince McMahon has a secret rule for all WWE tag team matches. Take it away, Thomas the Tank Engine.
There is, in fact, a secret rule. It's a Vince McMahon rule in a tag team match. You know how you tag and there's 5 seconds when you can both be in the ring at the same time? If I tag you for 5 seconds, we can both be in the ring as the referee counts to 5. However, outside of that 5 seconds, if you are not the legal man, you cannot touch the other team's legal man. Vince is adamant that this be enforced. If you are legal, you are allowed to hit the other team's illegal man, but if the illegal man cannot touch the legal man. Vince is so adamant about this rule that when the wrestlers put the matches together, there are spots they want to do, but they can't because it violates this rule.
But apparently, not legal men breaking up pinfalls is absolutely fine. That's weird. And I know, just like you at home, I'm sat there thinking to myself, I'm sure I've seen it a million times, the not legal man tagging the legal man from the other team during the match in sight of the referee. And were these men disqualified? No, they weren't. They were just told off and told, what are you doing, man, and stuff like that. They just make up these rules on the fly, don't they? They do, don't they? They do. And here we have a direct quote from Natalya when she said to Shayna Baszler, "Hey Shayna, do you know how bad it makes you look to disrespect the miracle that is motherhood?" So the first WTF moment there is the fact that Natalya was trying to sound hard while she was saying that bollocks line right there. Who wrote that and gave it to Natalya and thought it was a good idea? You horrible bastards, putting Natalya under the train like that. Under the train? Under the train? What train? But Shayna's response to Natalya was equally as WTF moment worthy as she said, "What do you know about motherhood? It's not like you're ever going to have a kid." Whoa! That's an explosion right there. But let me tell you something, Shayna. Natty already has a kid. He's called Tyson, and he's her husband and kid. Now, I don't know about you at home, but I thought it was a shame to see the Viking Raiders once again doing comedy after WWE seemingly did not learn their lesson from the old Viking Raiders carpool karaoke shtick from a few weeks ago. Yes, I thought the segment was fun. Yes, I thought the segment was weird. It was just sort of thrown in there. Whoa, let's do some basketball. Why the hell not? But the Viking Raiders, don't make them do comedy, man. They try their bloody best, but it just doesn't suit them, does it? But I don't care what you say. Ivar definitely made that shot with no assistance whatsoever. That man can jump. How's Natalya going to focus after hearing the words of Shayna Baszler, the commentary team ask? Pretty easily, I would have thought. That's it. What more do we need to say? And now we've got to the stage in the professional wrestling business where we have Natalya shouting, calling Shayna Baszler a fake wrestler during a professional wrestling match on WWE Raw here in the year 2020. And quite frankly, Natty, I don't know if you were told to say it. You probably were judging on that motherhood line from earlier in the show, but get in the bin, will you? Now, it's a bollocks thing to say in the midst of a professional wrestling match on a professional wrestling show, but imagine a wrestling, let's look at it in the realms of kayfabe, a character like Natalya saying it to somebody like Shayna Baszler. Shayna's one reign with one title is longer, just about probably. I didn't check. It probably is true though. It's longer than all of Natalya's reigns with titles combined. Natty, the bin with you. So then we have big bally bastard Baron Corbin speaking about his victims at Money in the Bank 2020, Ronald Mysterious and Aleister Black. They're lucky they're still here, big bally bastard Baron Corbin said. So did he just admit he tried to kill them? Yes, big bally bastard Baron Corbin mentioned that famous secondary roof, but big bally bastard Baron Corbin did not mention that if he knew that secondary roof was there when he threw those two lads off the primary roof. Ooh. Surely he has just admitted to attempted murder live on international television, and yet he still hasn't been arrested. What's it going to take? Let's not lose a life. In kayfabe, of course, but still, let's not lose a life before we have to put big baldy bastard Baron Corbin in jail. Just put him in there now, will you? Now, you can say what you want about a normal bog standard singles match in a professional wrestling ring coming in a feud after a last man standing match, but Randy Orton made that weirdness make complete sense. So good on you, Randy Orton. One hell of a promo there, sir. What did not make sense was Charlie Caruso presumably once again following the script. Fire all the script writers who put together this week's Raw, because there was a number of cringy clangers. Because Charlie Caruso put all of the pressure in the world on Edge's first singles match, a bog standard singles match, since WrestleMania 27, a long bloody time ago, when she says if this match does happen, it might just be the greatest wrestling match ever. Where did that come from? Why did that have to be said, Charlie? And that's it, I think, for all your WTF moments from this week's Raw. A fun show, a wholesome beginning. Once again, congratulations to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch on their pregnancy. All the best in the world to them. Nothing but happiness. I've been Ross.